late night TV, movies, and Jerry curls. Welcome back to Curiosity Forge. The subject of what blacksmithing means to me and what the community means to me has come up, and I figured I would throw my hat in the ring because, we all have our own relationship with both the form and the community. And, what blacksmithing means to me comes with a little backstory. When I was real little, my uncle put a lot of work into getting me interested in working with metal, also shooting, explosives. Going to his house for me was vacation because that was one of like two places where I felt safe and I was okay with being myself without having to worry about drastic and violent draconian consequences for literally nothing, sometimes sneezing too loud. His house and my grandmother's house, and they happened to be right next door to each other for a long time. But as I got older, my uncle and I got a lot closer, and we started getting into more advanced stuff. He was a full-time machinist, and he was also in a position to start teaching machining at the local technical college. He was into it, and that got me super interested in welding, building stuff out of steel, and then at one point he brought me out to the Anvil and started working on my first basic curl and one other small project, and that same weekend we did some aluminum casting. And as a matter of fact, that was probably back in like 2002 or 2003 on the same anvil that's in my garage. I'm not sure exactly when that was because a lot of good brain cells have died in the name of a good time or suppressing pain in the intervening years. But, we were like really, really close. One of the only couple people that, I was close with. And he passed away very suddenly in 2007 at the age of 43. Very suddenly. And that's a whole nother story. But his anvil sat out exposed to the elements in my grandmother's yard for about 7 years before I got to bring it home. And I had to do a lot of repair work on it. And as such, working in my shop, which I'm pretty sure he would have been at least fairly impressed by and found it fairly well equipped, minus I think the one thing that would be missing is a milling machine and a metal lathe, but those aren't going in here. But working in my shop with his anvil and his tools, as many as I can get, does a lot to help keep him with me, and it helps make peace with the pain of that loss because, as suddenly as that was and as devastating as that was, I'm still not totally right with it, but I know there's nothing I can do about it except what I'm doing now. And that means a lot to me. And, something else that blacksmithing does for me is there is a lot of tranquility in the form itself. I've said it before, there is a ton of tranquility hiding in those hammers. If I just let myself zen mode out and relax while I'm working and not worry about pushing an agenda or worry about forcing something to happen right now, it becomes an incredibly peaceful, tranquil experience. There's not really much of anything I'm too terribly worried about. There's not anything going on in my head outside of staring at squishy steel move. And, given my background, that is something that cannot have a value put on it. The only other place I've found that kind of tranquility is at the shooting range, and the one time I experienced it in its purest form, at 75 yards, I got subsonic 22 rounds zeroed in to be hitting groups like that big on the bullseye. And given that they drop about this far at 75 yards, that took some work. And again, that was at my uncle's place on the shooting range he cut out on his property, which that made me super, super lazy. I don't like driving to ranges. I want to walk out to my backyard and shoot. But, one beautiful, beautiful thing is you don't have to be that good at blacksmithing to have a lot of fun with it. I'm not great at it. I can do some things, and I'm learning how to do some things better. But, I am still very much a beginning amateur with a lot of huge gaps in my knowledge. And I am perfectly okay with that because I'm learning as I can. And, I know it's slowed down by a couple things. One, the way I learn is normally I have to be hands-on with somebody else helping me fix what's going wrong for a while before I get a good foundation of skills built that I can now then build off of myself. I'm not good with book learning. I'm not good with learning off of videos so much. I'm not good at just reading instructions and going at it. It takes some work. But and the other part of that is, unlike a lot of people in the community, my shop time is kind of really hit or miss. I might be in the shop for 6 or 7 or 8 days in a row, or spend 3 weeks just doing stuff in the shop. Or I might get to the shop once every 3 weeks. There's kind of not much in between. And, again, that's okay. It's my shop. I don't owe anybody anything for it. I don't really owe anybody anything from it. So I'm kind of free to do what I need to, and I'm free to step away and say, hey, I need a break right now. And it's totally fine. And, the community. The community has been overall wonderful so far. I have come in contact with a lot of good people, a lot of people that I happen to like quite a bit. I have a couple of friends that, basically friends I never get to see that I actually talk to quite a bit. And it's been a wonderful place to learn from. There have been a lot of people that they're either beginners like myself that I end up learning a god-awful bunch from, because watching their learning process, they're fixing the same problems I gotta fix. And the biggest thing is the difference in the way the videos are made. That's one thing that has always been a love-hate relationship. Because there are a lot of videos by guys that have a lot of experience, and they will skip over parts that I have questions about universally. It completely gets glossed over or treated like a non-issue, and then I'm left with questions that I can't answer. But I watch a new guy struggling with it, and he's dealing with the same lack of information that doesn't get covered in videos, and there's the answer. That, oh my God, is so valuable. It's wonderful. And, part of me being who I am very, very insular. It takes a lot of work to get out of my shell. And like when I first got involved with the blacksmithing community online that I am familiar with now, I came out of my shell, I went whole hog, and really did what I could to get to know some people and learn some stuff while I still had the wherewithal to remain out of said shell. And of course, like with all other things, eventually I run out of the mental ability to stay that far out of my shell and in contact with that many people, and sooner or later I have to say, all right, I need a break, I gotta step back and regroup. And in a lot of other groups, people just kind of stop acting like you exist, and stop answering the phone, stop responding to text, nothing when you're ready to get out and do some more socializing and get involved with some more people. But this community, no, whenever I hit people up, I pretty much always get a response, and no one's upset that I was gone for a while, nothing like that. And that's a rare thing to find. But so overall, the experience with the community has been nothing short of great. And it's nice to have people that I can ask questions when I don't understand something. And it's quite possibly, given that I'm working solo, even more valuable that I can send work to some of the people I know, and I will find out exactly what I need to fix pretty much immediately. And were I not enough of an adult to take that gracefully, I'm sure I wouldn't have that opinion. But that's my thoughts on the subject. There's so much more that could go into that, but I'm not going to hold you hostage for an hour and a half going over every detail. So with that, Yeah, praise the forge and pass the borax. Y'all stay safe in your shops. I'll see you next time.